inspiration was actually the struggles what actually when I faced while starting my bid management career, that actually pushed me to at least share some kind of knowledge with the upcoming people, like who are actually looking for help in the industry and who do not know about the concepts and all. When I started my career, there was a less help in the surroundings, let it be in our peer group or maybe some other companies. So people were coming into the organization and working there and for a short time and leaving, and they were saying that this is not a bid management, actually should be followed. So when we were asking what is bid management, then they did not talk much about that. But few people in the industry and the thought leaders, they shared lot many information on the social media, especially on LinkedIn, in the form of articles and the posts. So likewise we started gaining the information about what actually bid management is, what is the difference between proposal management and bid management, pricing, and so many things are actually involved in this particular domain. So if we can go into in a deeper side, so we can find out there are so many things separated in the industry. So I was in I thought of sharing the knowledge and sharing my own experience, what actually my journey was into the bid management domain. So I was into a thought to share some kind of information to the next generations. This was the basic thought, and I included my own experience. Once I gained the information from the other sources, so I was in an opinion that winning is not possible by only submitting the bids. There is a strategy behind that, and there are teams involved behind that winning strategy. So I have included in the last chapters about especially how to win a bid and what are the things required to win a bid, and what is the procurement cycle, and what is the bid management cycle, and what are the actual core needs, basic needs for a startup company or a experienced big corporates. So how they should approach to win a bid. So this is all about, my book is all about my experience, the struggles what actually I faced, bid management concepts backed by procurement cycle as well as this bid management life cycle. This is nutshell of about it. So in my opinion, bid management is just answering a question paper when you are appearing in an examination. Question paper is your RFP and answer paper is my proposal. This is the simplest example, like the way I can explain to the next generations. Yeah. Simple sales, I can say that there is no contract between the parties, two parties. Anyways, buyer and whatever the transaction happens, there are two parties, buyer and seller. Simple way. While taking the example of a simplest one-on-one sale, you go to a shop and buy coffee or a ice cream or maybe something, and the sale ends there. You'll get the product and you'll pay for it. That is the end of the transaction, and you don't have to worry about the contract and all the things that post sale what actually it is going to happen. These things are very simple, and at a one shot the transaction gets ended. While you take this example to the complex sale, so when you are going to buy 1,000 laptops from a laptop manufacturing company, then you will come to know what are the things to verify before the purchase of those goods, and what are the warranty clauses, what if the delivery doesn't happen on time, what are the liquidated damages. There are so many things can be incorporated into a contract, and that may become complex for both the parties, not to seller or not to only to buyer. It may be for both the parties. So I can say about the complex, the between simple and complex sales, how it happens. However, if a person can understand what can happen in one-on-one sale, there are the concept called quasi-contract. So before you buying a ticket, the flight ticket, you are going into a contract unknowingly, invisible contract. If you compare this quasi contract concept when you are doing a simple sales, you will definitely will understand what actually can happen when you go to complex sales. I begin with, there is a customer life cycle, like a buying life cycle. Initially, they, even if you individual level in a simple sales, the customer actually feels paying first of all. He doesn't understand why the pain is happening to him. So accordingly, he first starts searching for the reason behind the pain, and after that, once he finds out the reason, then he goes to the market or maybe some other place to search for the solution. And once he searches the solution, he'll start validating which solution is best for himself, and then he goes into the buying. Same thing if you go to the corporate or maybe a big company, big organization, while they decide, while they are facing some problem in the organization, particular to a department, the department guy will come to the procurement, the contract manager, and he puts a request to solve the problem, and then the cycle will start. So this is actually the procurement cycle. So once the start, like, so that is why I am saying that to begin with, I'll start at UI first, expression of interest, RFI, request for information. This stage, customer is at that stage finding the solutions. He identified the pain and he searches for the solutions. So he releases UI or RFI and he actually in the anticipation of finding the right vendors who are providing right solution for his pain point. That is one part, and after that he shortlists that. Then by the time he will be understanding what are the things actually he finds out the solution fit, and then he starts finding a implementer. So that stage he releases RFP, which is request for proposal. By the time he will be in a position to with full information, what is his pain point, what is the solution fit, and maybe about the budget also, rough budget. After that, they go to the RFE, request for empanelment. Empanelment, it is for repeat purchase. So I'll simply divide this process into UI, RFP and RFE. I have observed the change since 2011 in India especially. So we started, earlier we were submitting the hard copy bids, and in 2011-12 there is e-procurement kind of thing happened in India, and the same thing adopted by the different departments, especially from the government. But nowadays the enterprise sector, they usually ask the proposals by emails, or maybe they have their own platforms, and some people are actually using that Ariba platform, and some are using the local platforms, and some are using the government platforms. And nowadays eGEMS is there in India for especially the government procurement. So what you said is exactly, it's absolutely right, because the trend has changed from physical submission to e-tender. They should actually first assess themselves. What are their strengths and weaknesses especially, and what is the external environment, and how good they are connected with the customers, and how good they are into the solutioning. What are the best solution they can provide, and what if they know the differentiator of the solution they are providing, that would be better. And key points, if they analyze their SWOT, SWOT analysis is the basic thing. If they do the analysis, if they find they are fit to, like they are ready to bid, they can start. And I am not saying that till that point they should stop themselves. They can start participating in bids and they can assess what are the gaps actually. And during this journey, they should be in a position to fill the gaps. If they are not filling the gaps, they are not going to win any bid. This is what actually I wanted to communicate to the new leaders or the companies who are actually struggling to win the bids. There should be a kind of orchestration should happen between the customer facing executives as well as the backend teams. And the marketing team is key here because people usually understand that business development happens through sales guys. But it happens right from the inside sales, marketing, and the digital marketing guys. How they are going to, how they are positioning their brand into the market. That comes first. After that, from that stage, if a sales guy brings the same brand to the customer directly, face to face, then at least they can give a chance to extend the conversation, because they already know the brand, and this sales guy taking that brand to the customer on face to face basis. So trust has already built by the marketing team, and with that trust, customer will be at least ready to talk to the next level. So, and it starts like that. So what my opinion is that if an organization has to grab some opportunities in the market, they should first focus on building the trust, maybe physically or maybe attending so many events happen nowadays in the big cities. So people come there and share the knowledge. They should go there and present their brand, and they should participate in whatever the way they can get this brand into the market space. So that is the best. And apart from that, digital marketing is nowadays it is doing miracles in building the trust, especially, and that to specific audience, not all, specific audience. This is a kind of intruding tool nowadays. So business development, when it happens and when it is orchestrated between all the teams involved, whether maybe a pricing guy, solutioning guy, the bid management team, and the sales team, marketing team, digital marketing team, inside sales, they should all work together to build a business and for an organization. If you go into silos, if one department is good and another department is not doing that good, so it won't happen. So for the business owners, they should keep in mind that their organization should work towards the policy and the targets actually they have at organization level. Otherwise, it won't.